Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on the ParkerLovesSports YouTube channel. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend them here with me. In today's video, we're going to be going over my top 10 edge rushers in the 2024 NFL Draft. This is a daily series leading up to the NFL Draft where I'm going over all my positional rankings. Today is the edge rushers, and if you want to go back onto the channel, we've already done defensive linemen, tight ends, offensive tackles, interior offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. And in tomorrow's video, it's going to be linebackers. Then it is going to be cornerbacks. Then it's going to be safeties, and then we're going to be going over my top 20 players in the draft. And then wrapping it up the 2 days before the draft with mock drafts, a full first-round mock draft, and a Denver Broncos 7-round mock draft. But if you do enjoy this video, I just ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as the support is greatly appreciated. I'm trying to hopefully do this as a career one day, and by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, that will help me reach my goal a little bit faster. Now, a couple of things before we get started. The first thing is, in the description below, my Twitter will be linked. If you want to follow me there, feel free. It's nothing urgent or anything, but if I have an idea or if I want to tweet something out or whatnot, it's just a great place to interact with me. The comments are good, but if you want to have kind of a discussion, Twitter is probably the place to do that. So that will be linked in the description below. I guess it's technically X now. But the next thing that I do want to say is, I want to say this at the beginning of all my videos, is first things first is I do my own scouting, but I'm not an expert scout by any means. I'm working my way to there. But, I do read and watch other people's videos to kind of cross-reference with what I know. And so I use my scouting and then a bunch of other people's scouting to form these reports. And so I just wanted to shout that out, that not all this work is my own. Eventually, I'm hoping to get there. But as of right now, this is my work, and then other people's work that I have read and watched videos on, and kind of combined it all together to essentially just make the opinion, or not make the opinion, but form the analysis of who these players are. And the second thing is, I put stats up as kind of a graphical thing. And while stats are kind of fun and easy to use, they don't tell the whole story. Stats can be very misleading, and so I just want to say that never judge a player purely off of the stats, because they can be misleading, and yeah, they don't tell the whole story. But I just do it for graphical reasons. But let's go ahead and let's get into my top 10 edge rushers in the 2024 NFL Draft. But as always, first things first, I just want to remind you that Jesus is King, and I pray that you give your life to Him, as He has got a plan and a purpose for you. And I just truly hope that you accept Jesus with your whole heart and believe that He died on the cross for your sins, because if you believe that Jesus lived the perfect life, He didn't sin, and He sacrificed Himself on the cross, died, and rose from the dead 3 days later, then you'll go to heaven. It's that simple and that easy. Now, a lot of people think that it's by our works or how many times we go to church and what gets us to heaven. And while those things are very good, and as Christians being reborn again, we should want to do those things, but that's not what saves us. It's solely through Jesus' sacrifice on the cross and His resurrection from the dead 3 days later what saves us. Now, a lot of people won't like that I'm sharing this message, but quite frankly, I do not care. I'm going to continue to share this message with as many people as possible, because as a Christian, it is important to me. And now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into the top 10 edge rushers, my top 10 edge rushers of the 2024 NFL Draft. Coming up at number 10, we have Gabriel Murphy, edge rusher out of UCLA. Now, Murphy is one of two UCLA edge rushers, and we'll get to Leautu later. But Murphy, he is a little bit below average in size, I would say. He's at about 6'2", 247 pounds. He has 30.5-inch arms, and he uses his quick and strong hands to take on blockers and manipulate his blocker. He plays fast and explodes off the line of scrimmage, and he exploits his blocker by getting into the backfield very quickly. And he uses his hands to get into the backfield as well. And then he gets off his blocker when he's engaged with his blocker. He gets off of it quickly to bring down the quarterback or a runner in the backfield. And Murphy has a wide variety of pass rush moves, which is nice to see, because a lot of times edge rushers coming out of college, they're going to be a one-trick pony. Maybe they have one pass rush move, but then A lot of times in college, they were either a speed rusher being able to run by guys, or they were a power and bull rushers being able to run through guys. But Murphy has a wide variety of pass rush moves to help him get to the quarterback. During his career with the UCLA Bruins, he played in 47 games with 74 tackles, or 74 solo tackles, 75 assist tackles, 149 total tackles. He had 37 tackles for loss and 21 sacks. He was very productive in college. Moving on to my number 9 edge rusher, that is going to be Adisa Isaac, edge rusher out of Penn State. Now, once again, this is one of 2 Penn State edge rushers, and we'll get to the other one in Chop Robinson a little bit later. But as for Adisa Isaac, he is a very versatile edge rusher who combines his traits of tools, having a high motor, and yeah, he combines those two. I thought I was going to say a third one, but he combines his tools and his motor to rush the quarterback. He has quick feet off the line of scrimmage, and he uses his hands and footwork to get by his blocker, to get by the tackle. He has solid pass rush moves, but he does need to develop a counter move, because sometimes, when you're trying to do a move, maybe a swim move, maybe a spin, maybe a rip, you can get countered by the offensive tackle, and then so you need to develop a counter move to that to still get by the offensive tackle. So he does need to develop that counter move. But he has a high motor and hustle, and he doesn't give up on the play until the whistle is going to be blown. Yeah, that's something you like to see, because a lot of times if it's a run play away from them, or a pass play and they can't get to the player, they're going to give up and walk around and hope another teammate makes a tackle. But Adisa Isaac is not going to give up. He's going to have that high motor, and he's going to have that high, I guess, what's it called? I can't think of the word, but he's going to continue to play at that high motor until the whistle is blown. Now, Adisa Isaac is most likely an outside rusher. In my opinion, I think he should play as an edge rusher, but he occasionally slides to the inside on pass rush moves. So most likely he'll go outside of the tackle, but there is a move where he'll go to the inside in between the guard and the tackle. Now, I should mention, in terms of what edge rushers are and what I am classifying as an edge rusher, if it is in a 3-4 defense, the edge rushers are the outside linebackers. But if you're in a 4-3 defense, the edge rushers are going to be your defensive ends. Now, during Adisa Isaac's career at Penn State, he played in 40 games with 47 solo tackles, 45 assist tackles. He had 92 total tackles, 31.5 tackles for loss, and 14.5 sacks. Now, moving on to my number 8 pass rusher in this year's class, that is going to be Brandon Dorlus, edge rusher out of Oregon. Now, I would say he's kind of undersized, but not really, but just a little bit, I would say. I know that's kind of contradictory, but he's 6'3", 283 pounds. I'd say, I said undersized. Maybe that's a bit, it's tough. It's tough because that would be undersized for an interior defender, but for an edge rusher, I would say that's fine. Maybe a little bit small, but I would say that's fine for the position at 6'3", 283 pounds. Now, Dorlus is more of a power rusher than a speed rusher. He ran a 4.85 40-yard dash, which isn't terrible, but he's going to be that guy who's going to bull rush and use his strength to beat defenders. Now, he is a versatile player who is best fitted as an edge rusher, in my opinion, but he does have the versatility to go inside and play as an interior defender. Now, the reason why I say he's a better edge rusher is because if he did move into inside as an interior defender, if he did make that move, he would be undersized at 6'3", 283 pounds. But as an edge rusher, I know I said he's a bit undersized, but as an edge rusher, I think that's fine. I would say, honestly, yeah, it's fine at 6'3", 283 pounds. I wish I didn't put undersized, but if he did move into the interior, he would be undersized. Now, he has excellent lower and upper body strength to bull rush and bull through his defenders to get to the quarterback or to get to the runner. And then he uses his hands to swipe and strike his blockers to get by as well. Now, during his career with the Oregon Ducks, he played in 52 games with 58 solo tackles, 50 assist tackles, 108 total tackles. He had 27 tackles for loss and 12 sacks. Now, moving on to my number 7 edge rusher, that is going to be Chris Braswell, edge out of Alabama. And once again, this is one of 2 edge rushers from Alabama on this list, and we'll talk about Dallas Turner later. Now, Chris Braswell, he has about the same size, I would say, as Brandon Dorlus at 6'3", 251 pounds. He has a quick and well-timed burst to explode off the line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback quickly. Braswell also has multiple pass rush moves and strategies to keep his blocker guessing at which move and where he's going to, I guess, well, as an edge rusher, you're going to be rushing off the edge. But in terms of his strategy, his blocker is going to be guessing on what he's going to use to get to the quarterback. But he does need to develop a counter move because if he gets countered, sometimes he can get stuck and doesn't really have that second effort rush to get to the quarterback. But he does have some good length to him as he is able to bend around the quarterback using his flexibility, bend around the edge to get to the quarterback to bring him down. Now, Braswell is one of the better athletes at the edge rusher position. As he ran a 4.6 40-yard dash, he had a 33.5-inch vertical, and he had a 9-foot 7-inch broad jump. Now, during his career with the Crimson Tide, he probably didn't have the best production as he could have. Obviously Dallas Turner was there this year. Will Anderson was there last year, so he had to wait. He could have definitely transferred if he wanted to, but he stuck at Alabama, and he still had a very solid career with the Crimson Tide. And in that career, he played in 41 games with 31 solo tackles, 44 assist tackles, 75 total tackles. He had 15.5 tackles for loss and 10.5 sacks. Now moving on to my number 6 edge rusher. This is going to be Darius Robinson out of Missouri. I love the upside of Darius Robinson. I think he can be a great talent in the NFL. He has a great physical build at 6'5", 285 pounds. He has 34.5-inch arms, but he lacks elite athleticism as he ran a 4.95 40-yard dash, which isn't great for an edge rusher, but he is more of a power rusher than he is a speed rusher. Now, Robinson is a very raw prospect with tons of upside, and he has a ton of tools to work with. And like I mentioned, because I'm a Broncos fan and I want us to draft J.J. McCarthy, it's not all about the production, but it's all about the tools in which you think you can develop. The quarterback, of course, you obviously take a little bit earlier because of how important of a position it is. But Robinson, I think you could get him in the second round. I still think he's going to go high. I don't think he's going to be a first rounder. Wouldn't surprise me if he was, but I think most likely he's going to be a mid to late second round pick. But yeah, I love the upside of Darius Robinson. Like I said, he's got a ton of tools and upside, tons of tools to work and develop, and he's got a ton of upside. Now, he's fairly new to football as he only started playing football his junior year of high school. Now, Robinson needs to develop a pass rush move to he does need to develop pass rush moves in general, not just use his pure strength to beat guys. And he also needs to develop counter moves to counter against blockers if he wants to be a super effective player in the NFL. Now, he uses his length to bend around the tackle and get pressure on the quarterback, uses his length and bends to do so. And you honestly have to be pretty athletic to be able to bend around the edge rusher, and they're going to be behind you, still try to block you, but being able to bend around and get pressure on the quarterback or the running back, it's pretty impressive. Now, he can play outside as an edge rusher, or if you need to move him into the interior, he can do both, as he is great at rushing the passer and defending the run. He has that upside, can play him at edge. Maybe if that doesn't work out, you shift him to an interior defender, and he'll still be solid. He can rush the passer from the interior, and he'll be a solid run defender as well. So he does have that versatility, and his arm length plus power makes him a force to go up against. Teams will be able to mold him as they wish, as like I mentioned, he has a ton of tools to work with and a ton of upside. During his career with the Missouri Tigers, Robinson played in 43 games with 69 solo tackles, 43 assist tackles, 112 total tackles. He had 21 tackles for loss and 13 sacks. Moving on to my number 5 edge rusher in this year's draft. That is going to be none other than Braylon Trice, edge rusher out of Washington. Now, Braylon Trice might not be the most gifted or the most talented at the edge rusher position, but he plays every snap with urgency, and he plays with a high motor by constantly rushing the quarterback. And if he gets countered, he is going to provide a second effort rush attempt to obviously rush the quarterback. Initially he can get stopped, but he's not going to give up, and he's going to go for a second effort rush, which sometimes leads to the quarterback being sacked. Now, he plays with a low pad level, and he uses his momentum to play underneath his opponent's pad level as well. And he uses that strength and leverage to beat his opponents by getting under their pad level, getting in the hands, using his handwork to get by the defender and he gets into the backfield. Now, does need to develop some pass rush and counter moves, and he's a decent size. Once again, he's another 6'3" guy, but he is 6'3.5", 245 pounds. But he's not the most athletic guy. He ran a 4.72 40, which is decent for the edge rusher position. But in terms of the athleticism, there are a lot more athletic guys in the edge group if you want to go in that direction. But yeah, Braylon Trice was super effective at the University of Washington. His other teammate, Zion Tupuola-Fetui, he did not make the top 10. I think he's in the teens-ish, the late teens in my rankings. Not 100% sure, though. I'll have to go and look at that after this video. But during Trice's career with the Washington Huskies, he played in 34 games, getting 63 solo tackles, 38 assist tackles, 101 total tackles. He had 28.5 tackles for loss and 18 sacks. Now moving on to my number 4 edge rusher in this year's class, it is going to be Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. And from here on, all these guys, I think, are going to be first-round picks. Where I see Chop Robinson going, I think he's going to probably go in the mid to late 20s. I'd say like 25 is the earliest I would expect him to go. Maybe he goes a little bit higher, but that's about the range that I think Chop Robinson will go. Now, Chop wasn't the most productive player while in college, but he offers elite athleticism that is towards the top of the entire edge rush position group in this year's draft. He ran a 4.48 40-yard dash, had a 34.5-inch vertical. He had a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. Now, Robinson explodes off the line of scrimmage and gets to his blocker quickly before getting by them and pressuring the quarterback. Now, like I mentioned, a super athletic ball of energy who will be scary in the NFL if he can develop a pass rush sequence. And what I mean by that is how he's going to attack the offensive tackle, what moves he's going to use, how versatile is he going to be in his moves, how much variety is there going to be. If he can develop that sequence, he's going to be scary to go against. Now, he already does have a variety of pass rush and counter moves. It's just going to be how does he implement them into his strategy of rushing the quarterback. He can't be too repeatable, got to mix it up. And so depending on how he sequences that, I think he's going to be very scary to go up against in the NFL. Now, he's great at pursuing and tracking down the running back and the quarterback. If he gets in the backfield by his blocker, he is going to close in and track you down very, very quickly, whether that's the running back trying to pick up extra yardage off the edge or even up the middle, or if it's the quarterback trying to escape and buying time, he's going to close in and hone in on you quickly and pursue them very quickly to get them down on the ground. Now, Chop has great body flexibility, capable of bending around the edge and pressuring the quarterback. And at only 6'3", 254 pounds, Robinson doesn't get overwhelmed by bigger while he is only 6'3", 245 pounds, Chop Robinson does not get overwhelmed by bigger tackles because he can get by them with his athleticism. He's got a variety of pass rush moves that he's not going to be neutralized by those bigger tackles. During his career at Penn State University with the Nittany Lions, like I mentioned, wasn't the most productive career, but he played in 30 games with 43 solo tackles, 17 assist tackles, 60 total tackles. He had 20 tackles for loss and 11.5 sacks. Now, moving on to my number 3 edge rusher in this year's class, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people have him in a different order. Not different order from mine, but just generally people have them ranked in a different order sometimes. My number 3 edge rusher is going to be Jared Verse out of Florida State. Now, Verse has a great combination of size, athleticism, and strength. He's 6'4", 254 pounds. He ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, which is really good. He had a 35-inch vertical jump and a 10'7" broad jump, while benching 31 reps of 225 at the combine. Now, Jared Verse has one of the best first steps out of every edge rusher in this year's class. He plays at a low pad level and uses his leverage, power, and strength in his hands to power through blockers and get to the quarterback. He has great length with 33.5-inch arms, and he uses his length and flexibility to bend around the edge and to get pressure on the quarterback and bring him to the ground. Now, he has great play instincts to identify, read the play, what's going on, identify what's going to happen, use his instincts to get to the ball carrier, to get to the quarterback, and make a play and, make a positive play for the defense, a negative play for the offense by getting a sack, a tackle for loss, pressuring the quarterback, bringing the running back to the ground. He uses his instincts to do so. Now, he has great handwork to neutralize his blocker and then provide pressure off the edge, neutralize his blocker, get around him, and then provide that pressure. And while he can play as a speed rusher, which he's pretty solid at, he's also a bull rusher with his explosive first step. Now, during his career with the Florida State Seminoles, Jared Verse played in 25 games with 45 solo tackles, 44 assist tackles, 89 total tackles. He had 29.5 tackles for loss and 18 sacks. Moving on to the number 2 edge rusher that I have in this class, it is going to be Laiatu, edge out of UCLA. Now, Laiatu is a great combination of size and athleticism. At 6'5", 259 pounds, he ran a 4.64 40-yard dash, which is solid. He had a 32-inch vertical and a 9'8" broad jump. Now, Laiatu is a great run defender and a pass rusher. Excels at in both areas. So if you're wanting to pick up someone like the Broncos, we need some run defense. Now, I want us to go quarterback, and we don't trade up for one of the guys, trade back, and then pick up Bo Nix later, or even pick Bo Nix at 12. I think it's going to be a mistake, but Laiatu is one of the guys who the Broncos are targeting. And, I'd be excited because he's a good player, but also very disappointed because we didn't go quarterback. But Laiatu is elite as a run defender and as a pass rusher. As a run defender, Laiatu quickly sheds his blockers, rather, before making a play against the running back or quarterback. And he also, making a play against the running back and the run play, obviously. And he punishes any tight ends who try and block him. Now, Laiatu plays with a pass rush plan, and he has great instincts to rush the passer with his pass rush moves, but also uses his instincts to see how the play is developing, and then he goes and makes a play. Laiatu explodes off the line of scrimmage, and he can be a dynamic pass rusher, either using his speed to be the tackle or by using his power to bull rush through a tackle. Laiatu quickly sheds his blocker to bring down the running back in his tracks, or to get to the quarterback and sack him in the backfield, or if he tries to escape and buy time, bring him down as soon as possible. Now, the one concern, I guess not the one concern, but a concern, and it's a major one, is when he was with the Washington Huskies, he had a scary, scary neck injury. It kind of reminds me, and it's not similar, but to Adrian Phillips, who was also drafted out, or he was at UCLA before transferring to Miami. Phillips had some concussion injury, and because of that, that pushes draft stock down. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen with Laiatu, but the neck injury could concern some NFL GMs, which will push Laiatu's stock down the board. But Laiatu is an incredibly, incredibly impressive player, and if he's cleared, he'll be a great pick for whoever picks him up. During his career with both the Washington Huskies and the UCLA Bruins, he played in 33 games with 61 solo tackles, 39 assist tackles. He had 100 total tackles with 35.5 tackles for loss, and he had 24 sacks. And finally, moving on to the number 1 edge rusher in this year's class, according to my rankings, it is going to be none other than Dallas Turner. Now, Turner is a long and athletic edge rusher with decent size at 6'3", 247 pounds. He has 34 3/8 inch arms, and he ran a 4.46 40-yard dash. Are you kidding me? That is crazy. That is extremely good for the edge rusher position. Dallas Turner might be the most athletic player. I guess not most athletic player, but the most athletic edge rusher in this entire class. Dallas Turner has the best first step in the entire draft at the edge rusher position as he quickly explodes off the line of scrimmage and closes in on the runner or the quarterback very quickly. His first step lets him beat blocks to get into the backfield and defend against the run or provide pressure in the passing game. Now, Dallas Turner is purely a speed rusher who gets off the tackle, who gets off his tackle quickly, and he gets off the line quickly with his first step, and that makes tackles anxious, which causes them to false start at times because they want to quickly get into their position so Dallas Turner doesn't beat them, and he just provides that threat because of his speed and athleticism. Now, he has elite closing speed in the backfield to chase down the running back or the quarterback. If the running back is in the backfield, he's going to chase him and pursue him down. Or if the quarterback is trying to buy time and elude defenders to extend the play, he's also going to pursue him and track him down and bring him to the ground very, very quickly. Now, Dallas Turner has a wide variety of pass rush and counter moves that he can implement and be a solid edge rusher at the next level. He does need to play with better play strength because he's not the strongest edge rusher, but he is a dominant force as a speed rusher, and he is going to be a great player in the NFL. During his career with the Alabama Crimson Tide, he played in 38 games with 58 solo tackles, 62 assist tackles. He had 120 total tackles with 32.5 tackles for loss and 22.5 sacks. But yeah, Dallas Turner is my number one edge rusher in this year's class. And that is my rankings. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Make sure if you enjoyed to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Parker, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.